Aristotle and I teamed to upgrade enemies in Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Today, I'll go over how I added the enemies from simple buffs to super complex enhancements. I'm gonna start simple with Cinder cheeps. They're basic, just having fireballs attached to cheeps. I added a rotating actor to the mix to make the fireballs spin around each cheep. After the fish is obliterated, the rotation and attachment is stopped. This allows the player to fairly fight the fish without a power-up. Most other enemies use the concept of actor duplication. Simply put, it's copies of the same enemy that have different attributes. Surging skedaddlers are next. I created them with actor duplication so I can mess with each attribute that regular skedaddlers have. I edited the distance from the player that they flee, so the player runs super close to the skedaddler and has to be more precise with their jumps so it won't turn around. I also changed their attack speed. Stronger variants shoot faster and stay even closer to the player when they run. The Blitz bull rushes were another simple use of actor duplication. Their charge up time and speed was increased, so you had to parry them with the elephant power-up to not get damaged. It was also able to make them get up faster than usual. However, they tend to turn around when hit, so that didn't matter much. The stronger variants all have different charge-up times and faster speeds while running. The ambush armads were a similar edit to the Blitz bull rush. However, the ambush armads attack instantly and are faster while attacking. They're also smaller and harder to hit, which was done by scaling them down in the level editor. The stronger variants are all a bit faster and smaller to give the player more of a challenge hitting them. Steel swirly pods are up next, and they're pretty simple. I edited their damage reaction table to indicate they take many more hits to defeat. The same table had data of where they turn into a shell and a slug, so I disabled that entirely to prevent the player from having a projectile. Interestingly, I had to change their damage table in both their climbing and non-climbing forms. Throughout the level, the speed change wonder effect from a few levels is set up to slow down the player more and more. Stronger variants also have more health. Savage Shovas are similar to the steel swirly pods, but alongside their health increase, they're also faster and push faster. The speed and push speed are a bit weird internally, so if you push up against them, they might give up and turn around more easily. It took quite a bit of testing to get these guys to actually push the pipes. For a similar reason, they would sometimes ignore it and turn around. Stronger variants are tankier and faster. Shrapnel spikes weren't actually the result of actor duplication. It's been a while. Instead, I placed a trigger to detect the initial spike ball and replaced it with the custom ones seen throughout the level. The explosion of spikes was initially an accident, but it was added to all of them because it was interesting. Essentially, if the spike ball is destroyed or removed, all of the attached spikes fly off in the same direction they are moving. The only reason the wonder effect was excluded is because there's a certain amount of links, such as attaching one item to another, that a level can have at a time. I hit that limit and could not place any more. A few of the remaining enemies use child actor editing, which simply put is changing the thing that something spawns. Havoc Bros were a simple instance of actor duplication and child actor editing. Simply put, each copy has the hammer child actor replaced with the respective enemy. I also had to edit some internal data to detach the foe from the bro during the throw. If I didn't, the new enemy would just be stuck to the hammer bro. Pyro Piranhas were another instance of actor duplication and child actor editing together. They're slightly more complex than the hammer bro, as I additionally edited some internal values to make them fire more projectiles and fire more frequently. Stronger variants shoot more fire at shorter intervals. Like spikes, bumper blooms weren't actor duplication at all. Instead, in the boot up file, I had to edit the player's knockback parameters. I wasn't able to make the player go super fast due to some internal speed capping. However, I increased the length of time you were knocked back significantly. Interestingly, in doing this, if you turn left at all, it'll nullify the knockback effect even if there's time remaining. Sharp's Noodles were indeed more actor duplication. Their jump height, delay, and grounded time were all modified to make them less predictable. I also edited their damage reaction table to make them immune to all kinds of jumps, which I stole from Spinies. The seed power was also in this level. It was initially inspired by the DLC power. Essentially, I replaced the fireball from the fire flower with the seeds that Yoshi spits when he eats a watermelon, and then I modified the Yoshi seed to always move up rather than mimicking player direction. Lastly, I increased the amount of projectiles the player could have at a time, or you'd be capped at 2. Chaotic Condarts were another use of actor duplication, but not for the Condarts. Instead, each one has an invisible Seeker Bill attached to the Condart. Entering the Condart's range will cause the Seeker Bill to be spawned on a delay, making it seem like the Condart was the one causing it. To continue this effect, I also made killing the Condart remove the Seeker Bullet Bill. If you don't set the scale to 0 and the body length to a negative number, the back half of the secret bill will appear normal size. Stronger variants move much faster and turn much faster to get to the player. Blazing Beetles were the result of actor duplication, but not in the way you would think. The only actor duplicated is the fireworks they shoot when they die, getting bigger over time, making it more likely the pot gets destroyed. The base beetle was modified to die to a single jump, so a firework set to spawn after the beetle died would spawn immediately. The ring around the beetle is just the ring around the wonder flower. It vanishes when an invisible Podoboo that's just attached to the beetle is killed. And the water pot given to the player just has a really small water sphere attached to it. If I made the sphere any bigger, the player would actually swim through the air while carrying the pot. Sadly, the firework and the fire ring don't attack the player, they just kind of look neat for the video. Goombas were again actor duplication and child actor editing together. I made copies of the largest Goomba and internally changed the child actor, which is what it's split into, to be the largest Goomba. I repeated this a few times to continue the mitosis effect. I also internally edited the size and hitbox of the new Goombas to make them bigger and bigger. I just used the same process that vanilla large Goombas used because it was an easy value to change. Also, if they're all the same size, the offspring are immediately killed because they jump a bit when they're spawned. Obviously, the stronger variants of the Goombas are bigger and split further. Finally, Blackout Boos. They don't actually use actor duplication at all. They were the most complex to set up. The Shadow is one of the rift actors that always chases the player. I also have 2 invisible trigger areas around each boo, detecting if it's moved to left or right. Whenever one is triggered, both areas and the rift are deleted immediately. However, because the area was deleted, it can no longer delete itself, and thus everything comes back. I've set it up so when they come back, they're in a relative location to the boo, so the contraption essentially resets itself. When the boo is deleted, so is the entire contraption. Stronger shadows are much larger and move much faster. If you want to see more Wild Wonder mods, check out one of the other videos, such as how I added Skeletron and Giganto to Mario Wonder.